Hey there, thanks for tuning in. Let me ask you, did you catch the Cowboys-Rams joint practice? Yes or no? I know a lot of you were scratching your heads after watching because, well, it didn't exactly look sharp. And that's on both the team and Coach Shoddy. So let's jump in and break down what he said were the three biggest issues: pad level, ball control, and sloppy details, and why those matter more than preseason highlights. First thing he hit on, pad level. Cowboys were carrying pads to high. That's basics, fundamentals. Football 101, it was costing them. A high pad level weakens your leverage, makes you an easy target. Schottenheimer mentioned guys like Maz and Dion Clark getting moved off the ball or even suplexed. Not good. He was crystal clear. Get your eyes under the chin. That's point one. Second, turnovers and ball awareness. 0 takeaways on defense, a lone interception by the offense, and a handful more opportunities that didn't materialize. Now Shoddy says he believes this defense thrives on takeaways. It's part of their identity. So when you see none, it sends a message. Dak apparently held the team accountable in meetings afterward, respectfully, but firmly. That's not acceptable. Take the ball away. That's coaching accountability in real time. Last, it's attention to details, those tiny things that add up. Even though they were facing an unfamiliar team, their standards don't change. You run your rules. You stick to discipline. Shoddy, emphasize details across the board: pad carry, ball awareness, spacing, assignments. That's how you elevate from okay to consistent. He called it out and expects better. So, there you have it. The core issues Schottenheimer drilled into the team after that scrimmage. It didn't look flashy, but it's a clear message: fundamentals, turnovers, and discipline matter, preseason or not. Now quick poll, was that performance a cause for concern or just preseason noise? Drop your yes or no in the comments. And if you want real, unfiltered Cowboys breakdowns all camp long, hit that subscribe button. We're not about the soap operas or contract drama. We're here for the football. Stick around because next we'll get into how Shoddy got pissed off and why that might actually work in Dallas's favor. Alright, so now that we laid out the basics, let's talk about the moment Coach Shoddy got pissed off and why that's actually a good thing. You heard it right. The offensive coordinator admitted he got frustrated enough to call a deep bomb play he hadn't planned to use. That kind of fire? That's exactly what you want from your coach. Picture this: you're in a joint practice, trying to feel out a defense you don't know, and the team isn't executing at the level you expect. Shoddy said he was so irritated with how things were going that he just decided to go for the gusto and call that deep shot to Jalen Brooks. And that bomb was a statement, showing the offense has some serious weapons and isn't afraid to use them. What's really cool here is how this shows Shoddy's coaching mindset. He's not just a quiet guy letting things slide. He's holding players accountable and willing to take risks when he feels the moment demands it. That Mamba mentality energy, as the video put it, is what can spark a team when it needs it most. That passion can light a fire under the offense and push the whole team to step up. Now, I want to ask you, do you want to see more of that kind of fire and aggression from Shoddy during the regular season? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Is that the energy you want calling plays for the Cowboys? Because honestly, a little bit of that intensity can make a big difference when the pressure's on. And while you're thinking about it, if you're loving this kind of deep, inside look at the Cowboys camp and coaching mentality, don't forget to hit subscribe and ring the bell for notifications. We're here all preseason breaking down the real football stuff, no filler, no distractions. Coming up next, we'll get into what the coaches really saw on tape, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and why what looked rough on the field might not be as alarming as you think. Stick around. Now let's dig into what the coaches really saw on the tape, because there's a lot more than meets the eye when you watch a joint practice. Schottenheimer and the staff broke down the offensive line's work, the running game, and some defensive issues that stood out. Starting with the O-line, the big guys up front had a tough day, especially against those Rams defenders. Nate, for example, was matched up against some strong, long opponents, and while he showed flashes of great technique, like that jump set where he got his hands on the defender, it was clear the line is still working through some growing pains. Tyler Booker, a young lineman, is improving every day, but Shoddy mentioned he sometimes moves his inside foot too much and needs to plant it stronger to hold his position better. Now, on the running game front, it wasn't exactly a banner day. The coaches talked about eye discipline, meaning the backs and receivers have to hit their spots perfectly to block in open lanes. There were times receivers were a little too spread out, backs missed their landmarks, and the blocking wasn't tight enough. That caused some missed opportunities and allowed defenders to get through. The running backs themselves sometimes retreated early or didn't press the holes aggressively enough, and that's something the team is actively fixing. Defensively, the Cowboys gave up too many explosive plays, 7 or 8 according to Shoddy. While some of those were against elite players like Devontae Adams, it still shows the defense needs to tighten up. But keep in mind, this was a scrimmage, not a full-on game. Players aren't tackling with full force, which changes how runs and plays look on tape. A 15-yard run might actually be just 5 yards if players had tackled properly. So the coaches are looking at effort, assignments, and how players handle matchups more than just yardage gained. So here's a question for you. Are you more worried about the run game struggles or the defense giving up big plays? Let me know in the comments. And if you're into breaking down these real football details, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next deep dive we'll be doing after every preseason game. Up next, we'll get into why the Cowboys went with such a vanilla game plan in practice, and how that strategy could actually pay off big time when the regular season kicks off. Stay with me. Alright, now let's talk about that vanilla game plan Coach Shoddy mentioned. If you were watching the joint practice and wondering why the Cowboys' offense and defense looked so basic, so predictable, well, that was totally by design. Shoddy made it clear they were playing with a 7-iron, not pulling out their full bag of tricks. What does that mean? Think about golf. You don't always bring out your driver on every shot. Sometimes you use a safer club to set yourself up. That's exactly what Dallas did in practice. They kept things simple, ran just a couple of coverages on defense, and limited their offensive plays to avoid showing opponents their real game plans. This approach isn't about hiding talent. It's about keeping the element of surprise for the regular season when every team is watching film and trying to get an edge. Shoddy knows the importance of being cerebral, especially in his first year as a coordinator. By playing it close to the vest now, the Cowboys can protect their secrets and reveal them when it matters most, the games that count. And let's be real, this is smart football. The Rams don't need to see all your cards in July or August. The goal is to get better, keep players fresh, and prepare without giving away your true playbook. But here's the kicker. Shoddy also admitted that the Cowboys will probably be using a 7-iron approach most of the preseason. So while it may look vanilla or boring, it's all part of a long-term strategy to make sure they're sharp, healthy, and unpredictable when the real season starts. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you like this approach of holding back during preseason? Or do you want to see Dallas go all out every time they hit the field? Vote yes if you're for the smart, strategic vanilla plan, or no if you want to see them light it up every single snap. Drop your votes in the comments. If you're sticking with me so far, make sure to hit subscribe and tap that bell. We're bringing you these inside looks all camp long, so don't miss out. Up next, the final chapter, where we wrap this all up, share Coach Shoddy's thoughts on roster decisions and what this all means for the Cowboys' path forward. So, wrapping this all up, Coach Shoddy also talked about the bigger picture, how all these practices and scrimmages feed into tough roster decisions and getting the team ready for the season. He made it clear that deciding who makes the final 53-man roster isn't just about scheme or talent alone. It's about players showing they can do their job against tough competition and bring consistency. Shoddy said it's still very much a work in progress. Some guys won't play much in preseason, while others will get more snaps as the coaches figure out the best combinations. The plan isn't to judge players off one game or one practice, but to look at their body of work throughout camp and preseason. He also stressed the importance of simplicity. If a player can't perform well when things are straightforward, it raises questions about whether they're ready. When the game plan is simple, players need to play fast, free, and at a high level. If not, then the coaches have some serious choices to make. On top of that, Shoddy mentioned how the competition in joint practices and preseason is valuable for evaluating players, especially on special teams. He highlighted some standout moments like the punt protection battles and how that intensity translates into real game readiness. So what does this mean for you as a Cowboys fan? It means the team is grinding, working through the details, and focus on building something sustainable. Sure, the joint practice and preseason scrimmage might not have looked perfect, but the coaches are learning just as much as the players are, and that's a good sign for the season ahead. Now here's my last question for you. Are you feeling confident about the Cowboys after hearing Shotty's breakdown? Yes or no? Let me know in the comments. And if you haven't subscribed yet, do it now. Help us hit that 16,000 subscriber goals so we can keep bringing you these deep dives and real talk all season long. Thanks for sticking with me through this. I'll catch you in the next video with more Cowboys news and analysis. Until then, keep the faith and keep riding with the boys.